Hello, travelers! Welcome to the Copper Fox Inn, where we discuss homebrew for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Come on in, take a seat, and join us as we look through these eldritch tomes and scrolls for interesting homebrews that we've found all over the internet. My name is Thomas the Human Bard, and I am joined today by...
Mercy the Tiefling Wizard.
And today, I've brought something that I have just sent to Mercy. Don't look at it yet. Don't look at it.
I'm not looking.
I need to pull it up in my thing first. Okay. This is a new familiar that you could theoretically find with the Find Familiar spell. That's the goal. It is a new creature, but part of the premise is that this would be an option for a Find Familiar spell.
Okay.
You're allowed to open the document now.
Okay. I knew it! As soon as you said it's a new...
This is Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. The child from the Disney Plus...
The precious young lad.
...series, The Mandalorian. I don't know if you've been watching, but we have, and we're very into it. Baby Yoda is a prized infant of a rare and mysterious humanoid species. He is known to possess unpredictable and not fully understood mystical abilities remotely akin to psionics, and he is revered for his kind and playful nature. This is brought to us by user The Arena Guy on r/unearthed arcana. Look at that art. Look at the little...
Look at him reaching out using the Force, exerting himself.
He's trying his best. He helped.
He's so good.
I saw a caption where it was like the descriptive text at the bottom of the screen for like subtitles on a TV show, and it just said, Baby Yoda tries to help. And I was like, oh, it hurts my soul. So there's a little banner here, Baby Yoda Familiar. At the DM's discretion, a warlock with the Pact of the Chain feature can choose Baby Yoda as their familiar, in addition to the forms listed in the player's handbook. Baby Yoda is a tiny humanoid Yoda species. Chaotic good. Baby Yoda has an armor class of 14. We'll see why in a second. 10 hit points. 5-foot speed. 30-foot fly speed in its carrier. And it has bonuses to sleight of hand and stealth, because in the show, he's always just showing up.
He cannot be contained by locks nor doors.
He's resistant to force damage and immune to the charmed status effect.
Hilarious.
He has 60 feet of dark vision, because everything has dark vision.
Yeah.
Passive perception of 13, understands common, but speak he cannot.
Speaks cute baby noises.
Makes cute little baby sound. Innate spellcasting, the Force. Baby Yoda's innate spellcasting ability is Wisdom. Maybe.
Okay.
He can innately cast the following spells requiring no verbal or material components. At will, Friends and Mage Hand. The hand is invisible.
You know, like it is for every single time Mage Hand comes up that isn't just base Mage Hand.
Spell,
yeah.
And once per day, Cure Wounds. He helped.
Because he tried to,
Force Barrier. While Baby Yoda is wearing no armor and wielding no shield, his AC includes his Wisdom modifier.
Okay,
That's why
there we
it's
go.
14.
Phew.
Because he has Force Protect. Magic Resistance. Baby Yoda has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Oh boy, Magic Resistance. Big yike. Actions. He has a Bite Attack. 5-foot range, piercing damage. If this damage reduces a tiny beast to 0 hit points, Baby Yoda swallows it whole. Because he eats the lizard.
The frog, I think.
There was also a frog. There was a lizard. There were 2 times where he stopped. One time where he ate a lizard and one time where he ate a frog.
There you go.
Telekinesis. Once per day, Baby Yoda attempts to manipulate a creature or object by thought. Choose one of the following options. Okay. Creature. So if he attempts to manipulate a creature by thought, Baby Yoda chooses one huge or smaller creature he can see within 60 feet and attempts to telekinetically immobilize it. Baby Yoda makes a wisdom check, contested by the creature's strength check. If Baby Yoda wins the contest, the target is suspended 5 feet in the air and restrained until the end of Baby Yoda's next turn, or until Baby Yoda loses concentration, as if concentrating on a spell. For the next minute, Baby Yoda can use his action on each of his turns to attempt to maintain the telekinetic grip on the creature by repeating the contest. If the creature succeeds on the contest, or when the effect otherwise ends, Baby Yoda falls unconscious for 1 hour.
It's just when he does that to the big ol' rhino boy.
Yeah, the Mudhorn in episode 2. Yes. Episode 2, Mudhorn. He hold it up and then he fall asleep.
Yeah, he'd take a nap.
And then telekinesis, if he uses it on an object, Baby Yoda chooses one object that he can see within 60 feet of him that isn't being worn or carried and weighs no more than 500 pounds. He moves the object up to 30 feet in any direction, but not more than 60 feet away from himself. Baby Yoda can maintain his telekinetic grip on the object for 1 minute or until he loses concentration as if concentrating on a spell. For the duration, Baby Yoda can use his action on each of his turns to move the object again.
That's very fitting.
It's a Baby Yoda, little Baby Yoda.
So I have a problem.
Oh? What's your problem?
Not infinite hit points.
Well, you gotta protect him. You must protect the baby. That's your job. If Baby Yoda dies, that's on you.
I need you to put up the meme right now of Rosa holding a picture of Baby Yoda and saying if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Okay, I'll try and find it and put it in here. Yeah. I love that it's a familiar, though, because if it's through if you do it through
you can bring him back.
Warlock's Find Familiar, you can bring him back. Yeah, he just would disappear into the Force, I suppose.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
He comes back as a Force ghost.
Yeah, he comes back as a Force ghost. Oh, man. At first, when I found this, I thought that it was Baby Yoda a Warlock patron option. The Baby Yoda gives you your strength. You must appease Baby Yoda to maintain your powers. But this brings up an interesting point. If Baby Yoda is a Warlock familiar, is the Mandalorian a Warlock?
Well, that was my first thought.
Is the Mandalorian like a hex blade?
Yeah, it raises
maybe
interesting
Eldritch
questions.
Blast is his guns. Like I have a Warlock whose
Right.
Eldritch Blast is just they do finger guns, and it could be that the laser guns the Mandalorian uses are just his blasters. Then they're Eldritch blasting.
That's an interesting point you bring up. So ever since I saw the first episode of Mandalorian, I've been thinking about and going back and forth in my head about what class the Mandalorian would be. And, there are a lot of different arguments for different classes, but
I've seen a lot where it's like a paladin because he's devoted to the way,
Sure.
or I've seen fighter because he's got all of his fighting skills.
I've seen ranger.
I've seen ranger because he's like a bounty hunter.
Track their
There's
prey.
all these different options. People
and there are arguments to be made for each of those. One of the ones that people keep bringing up is like, well, but it doesn't really make sense because his powers are based on his equipment that he has, and that's not really how D&D works.
And that's like a artificer or something.
Sure. Which I would argue that isn't his only powers. He's also just he's very dexterous. Obviously, he has super high perception. Clearly, really fast reaction speed. Also, extra coolness.
High charisma. There's a coolness stat in D&D. It's called charisma.
But I hadn't considered Warlock before, but I actually think that is an interesting way of thinking about his equipment, like his blasters being Eldritch Blast. Like, I hadn't really thought about that, but that kind of works.
Yeah. If he's Pact of the Chain, he won't have like a Shadow Blade or anything like that. Like a conjurable weapon or a tome. He has this Baby Yoda as he must keep it around at all times.
He's not really a blades guy anyway.
Well, he's got a knife.
He does, but he doesn't.
But
he's
I'm talking
more of
about
a blasty boy.
I know, but I'm talking about transferring it over to D&D.
Right.
Like that's a very summoning an object into your hand is how the Pact of the Blade Warlock all works.
Sure.
So I'm saying that makes sense that he's not that because he doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's not
and
him.
he doesn't have like a tome of all of his secret information. So
he
I
would
guess
be Pact of the Chain
this
because
one works, I suppose.
Well, if we accept as canon that this is this is an option for a familiar, then I mean, he's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be playable. Like, you could build, like we were just talking about in our last episode that we recorded. I don't know what order these are going up, but we talked about how warlocks are very versatile and they're very customizable. So I think that you could build a warlock that felt like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, you'd have to give him eventually, for the flavor of it, you'd have to give him mithril armor or something that he can wear somehow.
You'd have to.
Maybe you go hexblade so he can wear armor, and then you can get higher level plate or something.
It's definitely something you talk about with your DM, and you're like, look, this is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
How can we make this happen?
Wedge this in a little bit.
Maybe you make some compromises where you get better armor and you don't get other stuff as early on in the game. To balance it out.
And then you flavor all the spells as the gadgets.
Yeah,
where,
exactly.
I cast what's the Shadows of Hadar or whatever it is, where it's like black tentacles that like grab, and that's like, oh, that's my like net bomb that I throw or something, and it just flavors it a little different, but all the effects are the same. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I do like it, actually.
That's not bad. Maybe we'll brew one up and kind of flavor it and see if there's... Because either you could do a completely new Warlock subclass, or you could maybe just find a way where it fits already within one of the Warlocks.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is I think it wouldn't actually be that hard to just using this Baby Yoda and then just already like vanilla D&D make a Warlock that felt about right. I mean, it's not going to be one-to-one. I mean, if it's just not the same setting. Yeah. But you could get the same fantasy out of it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. You could get a D&D version of that idea.
Right.
Sure. You could also definitely just like make your own kind of a Baby Yoda with like an imp or something, where it's just like, oh, it's a green baby imp, but like...
He's just your friend.
Don't worry about it.
He's my son.
Yeah, he is my son. Without having to make a new Baby Yoda creature entirely, you could, if you wanted to make it like completely like PHB canon rules. Sure. You could just say... The imp that I summoned with my Pact of the Chain is green, and he's very adorable. Those are parts of his...
fluffy little robes.
He wears a little brown bathrobe.
Every time you pick him up, it makes everyone's heart melt that he's just so small.
He is so small. But he is always trying to turn on your music in your spaceship. Yeah. Awesome. So that's what I brought, baby. I'll put him back in his carrier and push him out the door before the Mandalorian finds us and murders us for touching him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't blame him.
Yeah, definitely.
I deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, kill us. Do it.
Do it.
Thanks for listening, travelers. If you enjoyed this, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more D&D content, and comment below what you think about how would you play a Mandalorian in D&D, and would you want to see us try and brew up a Mandalorian ourselves for D&D? Maybe we do a side quest or something where we go through that process. Yeah, let us know. Let us know your favorite Baby Yoda scene, and send us all of the Baby Yoda merch you can find to our P.O. box at...
Please.
Radio static occurs.
Just strap it to a carrier pigeon, tell it, the copper fox in, and they'll know where to go.
Yes, whisper it 3 times under a full moon. And until next time, keep on adventuring.